It's a sister situation with sipping conversation.
Well, welcome back to our second episode of our three-part series of Then versus Now. So, in our last episode, we talked about who we were and who were we becoming. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about what age teaches you, and we're going to talk about the lessons that didn't come easy. So with that being said, let's get started.
All right. So let's see. Letting go of who we thought. Let's see. How am I going to say this? Letting go of who we thought we'd be. Like for instance, I thought I was gonna be a doctor. I was gonna be that pediatrician.
Me too.
I was gonna be that first black woman, had her own practice. I was gonna go through all that. After school life had a different path. So I had to, let that go. And once I realized and let it go, made different choices. You got to keep on making different choices because I'm still letting go of stuff every day. So it's really like it's kind of like a never ending cycle, really.
So basically, we're grieving the life that we had originally imagined we would be living.
I don't know if I'm grieving it, and the reason I say that is very similar to Nene. I wanted to, when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a pediatrician. Okay? That's before I stopped liking kids.
Say that's kind of high.
I'm just saying, I used to like kids, so I wanted to be.
I was trying to be politically correct.
No, I'm not going to do that.
No, we can't.
No, but that was when I liked kids at the time. When I stopped liking kids is when I had teenagers. That's when I stopped liking children.
Before that.
But before that, I loved kids, and kids loved me. So I wanted to be a pediatrician, as she said. And, then when I got older, I went to college for a few minutes, and then I got pregnant and got married, had 2 children. I became their mother, and I focused on that, and I became a damn good mother. So I didn't regret the life that I left behind. So I can't say I regretted it or mourned the life that I left behind. That was the life I wanted, but my new life took a different turn, and I did really well at it. So when you know you can do well at, I'm the type, as long as whatever I do, I want to do well at it. I did well as a parent. Did I make any mistakes? Yeah, of course. We all make mistakes. But when I say I did well as a parent, I raised 2 successful, healthy children that can take care of themselves for the most part without any assistance from others. Haven't been any type of trouble and things of that nature. So I can't necessarily say I mourned that life. I did want that life at one time, but I left it, and the life that I chose, I ran right into it and did very well with it.
I won't say I'm grieving. I will say I'm grieving. I grieve choices I made when I was younger, because knowing what I know now, I never wanted to say I wish I could go back, but I definitely, knowing what I know now, would have made different choices. So I grieve that I let that time pass without being aware of what I needed to do at that time. The other thing I'll say is, the person I am now, I'm not that person. I'm not Tamika at 20. I don't want the same things that she wanted. I want more. I always, when I post younger pictures of myself, I often have a tagline, she didn't know. but I got us now. So it's, we get one shot at this life, just one shot, and, I grieve that I really didn't understand that at 20, but I'm working on losing that grief and just focusing on my now, so that my now is quality and the rest of whatever years I have left is quality.
I don't know, and I'm gonna say the same thing. I don't know if I'm necessarily grieving the life I imagine, because pretty much, I mean, me being married and having a daughter, actually, I imagine myself, because we talked about that so much when we were younger.
Yes.
We even named our kids, our daughters, and we never talked about sons. We always talked about we were having daughters.
Yes.
And so I have a daughter. The only thing that I would probably, and not necessarily grieving, is just sad about, is that because we all sing now, we do karaoke. I wish I had someone pushing me to go towards that, because I wanted to do that. And originally I wanted to be an attorney. And I like to argue, so I could have been a good attorney. But when I got to college, and just because this all started because of a paper I wrote. And my advisor thought it would be better if I sought to be a journalist instead, because she thought I was a great writer. But that isn't what I wanted to do. That wasn't what I imagined. That wasn't what I dreamed. I dreamed that I was going to be an attorney. But that didn't work out. And I don't grieve that I didn't become an attorney, that I didn't be a journalist or anything. But I do wish that I did more with my life. I do wish I did more.
Or like you said, you wish you had went down the path.
Yes, someone there was pushing me, saying, go for the sing. You like to sing? Go for it. Go try it. I mean, if it don't work out, you can always come back here and go to college. You can always come back here and do this or do that. But I didn't have that, so that would be the part I would miss.
We talked about that. She wished she had focused more on her artistic side. And you're such a fabulous singer.
Indeed.
And it just, I don't think that was something that many of our parents were at that time considered something to pursue. That was risky.
Yeah.
To say you were going to be a singer or an actress.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to be immediate, prosperity and income.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted us to make sure we had income.
Yes.
To support.
What about you two?
I don't know if I would use the word grieve, but like Anitra, like you, I was always wanting a creative path. I took art because I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be an entertainer.
I can see you being an artist.
I went to school for art. I carried the big easel and everything. Then I was interested in the architectural
I can see that.
things, and I wanted to write a book. And I also had a time where I wanted to go to culinary school. So it was all kind of not that, that little strict path of business. But in high school, I did well. I became a co-op, and the people guided me right out. I went to school halftime and took a bus to an attorney's office where I worked. So I worked from the very beginning in business. So I think I would have had to force the turn, from that. But it was easy. It was pretty much given to me.
I was put on that path through co-op, and even my counselor. That was, you need to stay in this. You need to go down the line of clerical and
so it was like it was kind of gifted to me. So in my spare time, I would write. In my spare time, I would draw. In my spare time, I would sing at clubs, nightclubs. I was in a band. Those were all my spare time things. So if I grieve anything, I would have wanted those to be my more serious path, and that would have been my plan B. But it was forced plan A. So
But you don't regret it.
I don't regret it. One thing is
It's just something.
because it has made it possible for me to mix them all up. You know, so having a job, having steady income, I could write. Having steady income, I got a car. I'll drive to the nightclub to sing. You know, so
That's true.
so it made the other things enjoyable. But I just wish I would have did a deeper dive.
You see, you gotta remember, we gotta also remember back when we were going to school and things like that, that was what was supposed to be done.
Yes.
And being artistic was for the rich, not
even
not
where you
people
live,
of color.
even where you
type of
grow
people,
up, even
right.
where you're coming from.
We weren't introduced to that type of thing. It kind of came out of us within the last maybe 20 years, maybe.
Yes.
That a lot of people of color are coming out with their artistic side, and that's good because of the internet. You know,
and that's also
brought that
good
out.
because they don't have. When I said I was gifted that, these kids have a little harder time because the business job as we see it is going away.
Yes.
You know, robotics and stuff like that is coming in, so they almost need an artistic side. You know, you got to offer something different. But I'll also say, where I was, you know, my environment didn't say be a singer, be an artist. You know,
No.
I'm in a lower class neighborhood, family of 10. My father is the only income. We're working hard, and you could see the struggle all around us. And you had to make a big leap, you know, to come out of that spot. Not saying it was bad. It's just you either can, you know, be
You had to work
complacent
harder.
on it. Yes, you would have had to just be different. Let the people roll their eyes and just step out. And some people did. You know, I wasn't one of them because again, I had a stable job all the time. You know, I was good. You know, I had the car. I had everything I needed. But I would have had to make a special jump and make a special. So if anything, I regret not, you know, making that leap. So.
D?
I wouldn't say grieving. I'm not grieving it. But I do.
Girl.
Well, so I'm not grieving it. I wouldn't say grieving it. But I do wish that when I was younger, I would have had someone like push. Like I said, I had a lot of freedom, and I should have been just told to stick with it because my actual dream was to be a dancer. I wanted to perform with Alvin Ailey, and I was really into that. And when I was younger, what'd you say?
I thought you were talking about a pole. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Cool, funny.
It's not too late. No, I'm not too late.
I could be in the
I love Alvin Ailey.
But yeah,
I
I,
did.
was
I
so
wanted to be-
into
that's what I
dance
said,
when
that's
I
one
was
of the
younger.
artists.
Just, oh my God, so into it. My dream was to just meet Debbie Allen.
Me too. Yes.
I mean, I would just cry when I see her just on TV. I was in love with Debbie Allen. And I just would always be like, I just wish they would not have let me just do whatever I wanted to do. I wish that they would have pushed me to say, hey, you're doing this, stick with it, you like it, just keep on going. Instead of, you know, and I mean, it was other things because, I mean, my emotions of missing my mom and I was going through different things, but I still should have just been pushed in that direction and not been able to have some treatment. So that would be something that I would be like, man, I wish that I would have been able to truly pursue that. But when we talk about what the young people have right now, I think we should talk about what we have right now, even though we're all over 50 into our 60s. What this world is giving us that our parents in their 50s and 60s didn't have is that we're getting the message of it's not too late.
It's not.
And our parents didn't get that message. You know, when they got to a certain age, they were just like, okay, I just need to retire. You know, yeah, I wanted to do that or I wanted to do that. But it really, no one was saying, but do it now.
Yeah.
We're now being told, everywhere you do it now. Write the book now.
Right.
Go after this career now. Get your degree now. So I think a lot of us aren't. I'm hearing it, but I think a lot of people in middle age aren't hearing it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that because that helps me with lyric because my feelings get hurt when I'm trying to tell you something, but it's what you
Just
said.
pull back.
She don't.
She
They don't.
might
They
just
don't always
talk
need
it.
you to fix it. They just may want to talk to you.
Sometimes
about
they want to just
That's
talk
release
it
it.
out.
Yes,
you
and,
know.
and we miss those opportunities to learn that your kid got it.
Yeah,
Or that
and that you
got it,
gave them
yeah,
enough to
yes,
to
or
know
that
how
they
to
can
do
take
it.
care of themselves.
Yeah.
So you're over exerting yourself trying to take care of people that really might not need your help all the time. I'm not going to stop being a nurturer. It's in my blood. But the truth is, I just have to realize it's not always necessary.
I think that falls under learning that everybody is not like you because I'm like a man in that way. I am a fixer.
Yeah.
I operate at my best under pressure. I don't care if it's my kids or anyone. If you are in an emergency situation, I can get into that. I can. Where some people will shy away. My winter taught me about what you just said, Candy. She was in college and she called me. She goes, I don't vent. I'm not a venter. But that goes back to me. I just don't tell anybody anything. But I'm not a venter. If I tell you something that's going on with me, I'm going to go number one to the person who I know is going to give me the best, tell me what to do. I am never going to call one of you up to cry. I don't want somebody to cry with me. If it's a situation, I want somebody but everybody is not me. So my winter is a venter. And she called me once, I don't know what she was venting about, and I immediately, like you said, went to, this is what we're going to do. And she was like, Mom, I just want to tell you about it. Me personally, I don't understand just wanting to tell somebody about it.
Right.
But I
what we're
learned
going
from
to do
her.
about it is
But
what you
so
think.
that goes back to too. You aren't, everybody is not you either.
No. No.
It's everybody's not you. So I've learned, and that falls under listening.
Yes. And then there's this unfairness in it a little bit, is because you're not showing that you need nurturing. So then the people don't have the opportunity to nurture you.
Yeah.
They could be sick and I'm there for you. I'm bringing you soup and blah, blah, blah. I get sick, I go in the house and y'all don't even know about it.
Right.
So that's not really fair.
Right.
So. But that's the hard truth for me.
Deetra, you got a hard truth?
Sure. I mean, one, and of course it would probably tie into your kid, realizing that, I'm telling Dallas, well, I think that he's like mine. I'm not doing that. Or, just finding out that he didn't need me to give him a suggestion. And my feelings get hurt, like, really, you having an attitude.
Let me nurture you.
I'm like, okay. Because he's a vegan right now. And I'm like, what did he say? This last time I didn't get my feelings hurt. This is when he was here. And we were making the salmon croquettes. And I was like, Dallas, you can eat some salmon.
See?
Mom, I don't want to eat any salmon. You just want me to eat salmon. That's because I don't want him to be a total vegan. I want him to eat some fish. It's not my life, but I keep trying to, make his life mine. However, I want him to be, just at least eat fish, whatever, because I just don't totally believe in being a total vegan. I don't believe in it. I mean,
but you don't have
for
to.
Sure, exactly, because it ain't mine,
Because
right?
it ain't yours.
But I was like, you can eat some salmon, and I'm thinking he's thinking, nah. I've been trying to get him to eat salmon, just mind you, since I had been to him. The last time I went was in Thanksgiving. Before then,
you heard him.
I bought some salmon when I was there and couldn't eat it, and so I left it in the freezer. And I said, Dallas, you can just eat that salmon. Don't throw it away, right? Trying to make him eat it.
Ooh,
and so, I know, right?
That is a
and
hard truth.
I know. And he didn't eat it. He ended up telling me he had company and he cooked it for his friends. And he said he messed it up, though. He was trying to do it the way basically he did it. He messed it up. Then, so, he's here. Now, Thanksgiving, I had the mentality I'm going to cook exactly what he wants me to make. I looked up some vegan things and I made the vegan things for him that he enjoyed so much so that he called me and was like, "How did you make that?" I made him some squash steaks. I made some fire roasted cauliflower, and he ate greens. We made the greens without. Okay, it was it wasn't meat, but it was.
She notorious.
Right. It was a little stop. It was chicken stock. He was like, "How did you make it?" I was like, "It's no meat." That's what I said. But and then he had dressing because he loved dressing.
It's meat juice.
But anyway, so when he was here, he said you can have. I said I'm making salmon croquettes, and he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, what are y'all making that I can eat?" So we're like, "Oh yeah, well you can eat the potatoes. This is for the brunch." We was like, "You got the potatoes, you have this, you have that." I was like, "I'm gonna make some salmon croquettes. You can eat some salmon." He was like, "You should have seen the look he gave me." He was like,
You heard it.
He said, you just want me to eat this salmon. I don't want to eat salmon. He was like, I said, you can eat the salmon, Dallas. He was like, where did it come from, Mom? I said, a can.
And you know, and we raise these kids to be independent.
I know, and
so
then
we
mad
gotta
because
give
he
them
doing it.
we gotta be confident.
Exactly. So
We gotta be
for us,
confident
needless to
that
say,
they
he
make
did
their
not
own
eat the
decisions.
salmon.
Yes.
But my niece, just funny part, she was like, "That's be killing me talking about he's a vegan. I call him veganish. See this type of stuff he keep from me. I call him veganish." I said, "Why you say that?" She said, he a vegan. He don't eat this and he don't eat that, but eat a whole bowl of ice cream." I said, "Oh yeah, he ain't never gonna let that ice cream go."
That's like that bra.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
That's
that's
buried
buried
in the mud. It was in my stomach. I didn't like ice cream.
That's buried in the mud.
I don't like any of that.
They do
But when I
have
was
non-dairy.
pregnant with Dallas,
They have
They have
day,
vegan ice cream.
every day, I would be like, I want a thick chocolate shake from 31 flavors every day. I used to go get a shake, and I used to be like, that is this baby, because I do not like ice. I'm not a sweet eater. I don't really like a lot of sweets. I'll eat ice cream here and there, but it got to be a move. In other words, like, for my treat, I buy this Hudson's ice cream fudge. Hudsonville is the best ice cream, right? Do you know I buy this ice cream, and you know how I eat it? Every now and then, I go and get a tablespoon
and scoop out.
And that's my treat.
Yeah.
And I don't want any more.
Yeah,
That's how, and the ice cream lasts forever to the point I almost have to throw it away because I'm not eating it fast enough. So I'm not an ice cream, lover. So when I was like wanting ice cream, I was like, it's got to be this baby because I don't like ice cream. To this day, I don't care if he come over your house and you say, I got some ice cream. He'll be like, what kind? He loves ice cream, but he ain't let that go.
I'm sitting over here thinking hard truth. As of now, there's no. I guess I haven't gotten the hard truth. I think the only thing that may have said that my child told me that I knock the house off balance sometimes.
Yes.
I'm still trying.
He would say
I'm
such a
still
thing.
trying to figure that out because
Well, I
You
know,
know.
nigga, you go in
You
there and
know.
you cut up.
But
Oh,
at the
God.
same, but at the same time, it's like, how can a Libra be off balance? That's just not possible.
Because you're
That's
crazy.
hilarious.
I'm just kidding.
So
But you
maybe I
probably
haven't
know.
grasped this hard truth, but I'm really just trying to grasp what that
Did it-
means because that kind of
Let me play devil's advocate. Do you have a clue as to what they're talking about?
yeah. But the thing is, why do I'm the only woman in this house? Why do I have to change? They don't change.
That's the hard
Because I'm
truth.
to the point now. Let him do it. Fall apart. Let him do it.
You
Okay?
could.
And that's what
Let
I said. Let him. Let him.
I have
And guess
Do
what?
y'all
Your
really
letter
want
might
that
be
to
a relief.
happen though?
Your letter might be a relief to them. Now, can you hold that letter? No.
No. coming though. It's coming. When
Right,
it comes,
right.
they gonna have a hard truth.
Well, we're near the end, I know, but we've been talking about this hard truth. I will say this: a hard truth for me would be realizing that everyone does not love me the way that I love them.
Oh,
And I'm
that's a-
speaking
yeah.
on that on a couple
Yeah.
of relatives that, a very close one that, I'm still struggling with, who was like a second parent to me. It's a hard, everybody does not love you the way that you love them.
That's
and
real.
you thought they did, but they do
Yes,
not.
that's very
That's
very
very
That's
real.
a hard truth, I think, for me. That would be another hard truth, is realizing that everybody doesn't love you the way you love them or show up for you the way you show up.
Especially, and I'm not talking about some stranger or like a,
No.
This is family.
it's like someone who you thought and you've come to the realization
Yeah,
that they were your person, but you were not theirs.
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's and you have to now. What I have learned as well is that it's not on me.
Yes.
All right.
Now,
Well,
can I tell you what Jill Scott
Sure.
yes.
System is that you work hard in your 20s, you work smart in your 30s, you work how you want to in your 40s, you work when you want to in your 50s, and you work if you want in your 60s.
all right,
Okay.
girl.
Not quite my step, but
I
but
believe it to
in a
be true.
real
Yes.
world, yes. In a perfect world, I would love that.
Yes.
That would be
Well,
I'm
in
in my
closing,
60s and I just work because I want to. So
well, that's
I
a
don't need
blessing.
to, I don't have to. It's
Yes.
just that I want to. So I believe in those steps, but yes.
Well, in closing, I just want you to know that getting older, it doesn't really necessarily mean that you missed your chance. What it does mean is that you know what matters now and what doesn't matter. So that's the end of our second episode of our 3-part series. Until later, we'll see you on the third, the last episode. Cheers!
Cheers! I was
Well, let me
wrestling
see,
with that
Sherry,
one because
I am
was
very,
like,
I
it
am
was
very
like,
proud of
hard
you
truth. I was wrestling.
because this is
And a part of my message, just on my own personal social media all the time, is telling people, just because you're over 50, you're not too late
Right.
to be who you want it to
Right.
be. And I think we need to bring more of that message,
Yes.
so that if you are grieving those things, okay, what's stopping you now? Because
Right.
now you're an empty nester,
right. And one of the almost invisible backbones to what you're saying is medicine. Our parents were sick.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
died of sicknesses, and now there are medications that if they had them, they would be able to speak this, what you say,
Yes.
true. Because they would be still here.
medications, but they also the self-care that we are
Mhm.
that is the language today.
Yes.
They didn't have
Knowledge.
that either.
Yes, we have
They didn't
knowledge.
have the self-care. They didn't have the
They didn't have the option to be selfish, to just take care of themselves like that.
not
Yeah.
even but
Yeah.
selfish, but even just but it
I
does
think
go
they
it
thought
does
they
go
were
but
taking care of
and
themselves.
I
But I'm
think it
saying, not like now, you will go to a spa. You can go to a spa, or you could just sit at home, or you could just say, "Oh, I'm not doing nothing today." I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. I don't know if they necessarily had many of those options where they could just say, because
Yeah.
back then they had 2, 3, 4, 5 kids,
Yeah.
where they were taking care of a whole family, so they
Yeah.
didn't,
When I think of my mother, I think she thought she was doing well. I think, she had a husband who worked every day and provided for the family. She cooked, and she cooked well, and she fed her kids. She kept them clean. It's just, that was what was important to her.
right, but
So
that's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
in her mind, she was doing well.
Yeah.
But I
you
think even once we were grown, our parents didn't have the mindset of, okay, my kids are grown now.
No.
I can, do this. I can do that. I can revisit this. The education wasn't there of how you could take care of that. You could be healthy in your
Yes.
50s and 60s, physically and
And still go
emotionally.
out and do all
You know,
kinds of
it was
things.
more
But back
so
then,
you're
people
old.
weren't living
That's
until
my
they're
point.
60.
They weren't living like that.
Well, it depends
No.
because we can't really say that because there were people that were living
There were
well
some.
beyond it. A lot of people
They
were
were. I
living
think that
well
I
beyond.
think those were fortunate enough people that were not sick. Like my father died in his. He all of you are probably older than him right now.
Mhm.
He died of cancer. My mother died of a disease at a young, age too. So I just and when I think of what they died from, like my mother had severe high blood pressure. My father, was a smoker. So this
Yes.
life, people don't smoke as often. They don't
Right.
smoke cigarettes like that. High blood pressure. I have high blood pressure and been maintaining it with medication for years.
My mom
But-
died at 54.
Yeah.
Well, both of my parents, neither of them saw 65, but what they didn't have once they got older is they didn't have the education of how to change their lives to live better.
True. True.
And they made assumptions. There was this, and people do it even today. A woman, that I talked to recently, she's going through some high blood pressure struggles, and I absolutely hate when people say that. She says, "Yeah," she goes, "but it runs in my family." High blood, it's not running in your family. The health, the way you live is running in your family.
Yes.
Unless
In fact, I love that salt.
it's like, and Sherry Shepherd said something. She it was a joke, but she said something a couple of years ago. She goes, "I just thought everybody had an uncle who was missing a leg." It's just so. I think the sad part for me right now is that with now all of the available information and all of the education, people are still making choices of what my parents or my ancestors made. Like they don't know, like they are
Almost
not
like an
aware.
excuse.
I wouldn't even say excuse. It's just like it's how you can find how something runs through a family.
Yes.
Unless somebody breaks out, from it, it's
Yes.
just almost like it's just being passed down, like passing down an heirloom.
Sure.
All right, well, let's switch it up a little bit and talk about what your identity, your confidence, and your self-worth looks like to you now versus when you were younger.
Well, let me say now, I was just joking, but the truth is this is 65th year for me. And I have learned some lessons, and they're coming in like rapid fire now, and there's simple things. Like driving over here, I thought about 3 things from 3 people. One of them is my man's sister, and she has this thing called let 'em. And she says it a lot, let 'em. So I wanted to know, what is this thing you keep saying, let 'em? And so after she explained it, it's like, we spend so much time maybe with our kids, we want to tell them the right way to go. I want to tell you, maybe this, you should wear red, it look good on you, or, maybe you should do this. But people do what they want to do. At 60-something, I have learned, let 'em. It's less stress off you, because at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to do what they want to do anyway, whether it be your kids or whoever. They may entertain you, but they're going to eventually disappoint you.
Exactly.
Because you think that you're guiding, you're steering the ship, but you're not.
Right.
And why are you? You got time. You don't have time for that. Spend this time on yourself and let them. Let them.
I like that. Let them.
Let them.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Yeah. Let them.
I didn't say it, let them so much. Even in my relationship or whatever, I really want you to eat that I just cooked, but you don't want that. You want some? I put it in the refrigerator. Let them.
Yeah.
Because you stress yourself out thinking that you got the better answer for people.
Yes.
When really you only have control over yourself, and that 60 has turned into let 'em.
Hey.
It's turned into it. And the other one thing I think about, and I don't want to get this wrong, I'd seen a Jill Scott interview, and she was talking about work. I don't know if anybody's seen this.
I did.
She says that, I'm going to start it with her, that in your 20s, hold on, let me get it right. So you plan, hold on, let me get it to where I don't want to, in your 20s, you work smart. In your 30s, you work how you want to. In your 40s, you work when you want to. In your 50s, you work if you want to. In your 60s, you work. That might be if you want to. Hold on, let me just read it. I messed up it. Let me do it again. I don't want to start over. Okay. So in your 30s, you work when you want to. In your 40s, you work when you want to. In your 50s, you work. Okay, I shouldn't be reading. But what particularly it says that in your 60s, you work if you want to work.
Right.
You know, all those other ones, it's really, I just find her interview because it's very good. Actually, she said a lot of great things. So, but yeah, it's my audition. I'm going to get that right before we're over.
Well, for me, it took a lot with learning that I'm worthy. I don't know if I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of you respecting me. No matter how I deliver it to you, I'm worthy of love. And I've learned, the older I've gotten, I've learned to self-love. And that's been really, really, really hard. Self-love. And I've practiced the thing that your man's sister said, let go. Because I've let go a lot of stuff. Now people, I used to worry about, okay, they gonna be mad if I don't do this, or they gonna be upset because I said this, or I don't care no more. I literally don't care anymore. Because what can you do to me? I'm damn near 60 now. And maybe you could be 40, and you say what you want, but I don't have to do nothing.
I know,
But what they used to say, stay black and die. That's all I have to do.
That's all I have to do.
It just reminds you back in the day when you were younger, and there was always that auntie that you used to be like, "Ooh, what's up with auntie over there? That's that auntie over there." See, they was 60. They was in their 60s. Like, let them.
I don't worry about it.
Now we know.
But then they was the ones that was in the back telling everybody, "You see how they was at? But let them do what they want to do." That's just more conversation for us.
Yeah, it was a
That's
hard,
just more
hard,
podcast for us.
hard lesson and
Let them
a
kids do
long
what they
walk
do.
through everything I've been through a whole bunch of stuff. But learning to love myself and understand that I don't have to care what nobody think about me or care how they feel about me. That has been a hard and long lesson for me. And now I know my circle is not big. I'm friendly with a lot of people, but I don't have a lot of friends. I have my core circle that I associate with, and that's good to me. That's good to me. I mean, people like me and say you're nice. Oh, she nice, she friendly. Yeah, I'm nice and I'm friendly. But I don't want a relationship.
With you.
Right.
No,
I don't want a
yeah.
relationship. Because I don't want to work. The people they know, you all know me. So I don't have to work. You all know what I don't like, what I like, how I am, what I feel about.
Yeah.
I don't have to work. That's it.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get here. And now I'm 58. And it took me this long to get here to learn.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think.
I think, at this age, if it's not organic when it comes to relationships, if it doesn't flow naturally, I'm open to meeting new people. And I'm not talking about a man, I'm talking about just friendships. But I'm immediately off anything that just does not flow. And people like to think that it's sometimes it has nothing to do with somebody doing something wrong. It just don't flow. And so I no longer try to make things work with folks that it just don't flow.
Yeah.
And what I have really learned just in the last 2 years, I discovered about myself that I have stayed loyal to some family members longer than I should have, just because I'm family oriented. I love And I have a hard time recognizing when people have left me.
Yeah, and you can't blame them because
Yeah. And
it's
so
what you were expecting.
And so I have over the last less than a year been just really come to understand that sometimes people's time in your life, the way that they were in your life passes. They're that chapter, and it's okay. And you let it go. And not to say that it couldn't come back, but at the moment, just let it go. Don't worry about why it happened or how. The other thing that I've come across, and this came out when we interviewed Ebony 2 years ago, I have always been that person for whatever reason that, I to this day I still get, I was at an event, recently where someone at the end of it, they didn't know me, they said, when I first met you, I thought you were, and I hate when people do not start the line with me that you thought I was, if you do not know me. And it used to bother me. These days, when people act odd with me or any of that kind of nonsense, I step back, I look at it, did I do anything to them? Did I say anything to them? And once I do that and I can see that I did not do anything, I did not change, I walk away. So I would say that, I think that comes around to peace. Peace has become very important to me, and people who disturb my peace or make me feel unsettled, I am off of them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what our relationship used to be. That was nice. We can say great things about a girl back when, but it's not what it is today.
Yeah. I used to care so much about what people thought.
Mm-hmm.
Almost where it was debilitating, so that is definitely gone. I won't say it's gone altogether, but I just have a brand new, outlook on it.
Yeah.
I don't care. This is me. You take it or leave
Take it or leave it, right.
So I'm not going to keep trying to change for people, and I don't expect them to change for me. So, but I definitely, I know my order. Like, I have almost a problem. I like order. I like organization. I like that to be over there and that to be over there and that to be, so that is what I want. I have to stop expecting people to be the same way.
Yes.
So you come, so you come and put something over there instead of over there, or so I don't want to be that old lady that's like, oh, Jesus, I don't want to be her.
Yes.
So that's a work in progress, but it's definitely a lesson learned.
Yeah, remember we used to say, we got to stop expecting you out of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect them to see yourself. Just because you're nice to people or you treat people good, you're not going to always get that from everybody.
That's why I love let 'em.
But I think with that, right? But I think too is when that happens, it's not necessarily people are not going to be like that. Just realize that people are not going to be like that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, again, some people might be having a bad day, and this is how they are then.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I might not be like that all the time. So maybe that day that they did come in contact with you, they felt that way. But it's up to you as a grown woman or male to come to you and say, you know what? The day that I first met you may have been like this, but you don't seem like, that. And it's up to, sometimes people will be like, they may get offended with that, but I don't think that they should. So you should be able to communicate in a way with people, because it could have been just that day that I felt like that.
Right.
That person, because you could come to somebody else and they'd be like, they're not like that at all. You must have caught them on a bad day. Or maybe that's the era that they're giving off to you.
Well, people are different for different people. So we can all say that, we all have that person that you go, girl, she's wonderful. And you go, I can't stand her. So there's and I don't want to butcher like what you said about Jill Scott, but there's something that says, some folks will say I'm wonderful. Some folks, there's a saying that says, some folks will tell you I'm the best thing since sliced cheese, and the other person will tell you I ain't shit. Right. It just depends on
the day and the time,
and what our relationship is.
And one day I might actually be that.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if you're really a friend or you're really in my circle like that, then you will know or understand. Well, you just don't get you something.
Candy, Deidre, what do identity and self-worth and confidence look to you versus your younger?
I'm gonna revisit that. Go ahead, Deidre.
I just choose me more. Like I said, I used to, because of being I was always trying to be there for all my family members, there for all my friends, and then always, and really, at some point figuring like, gosh, I don't have anybody that's really checking on me, or really like, they're just thinking, she all right, or I'm okay. So over the years, I've learned that I'm very good with letting people go out of my life. Like, your season is gone, and I'm fine with that.
Right.
Especially with I am very happy with the circle of people that I do have in my life. I meet new people, but they're associates, and actually I really don't like it too much. And I meet people, which I've always met people like, I used to say I attract females because I was always attracting females, friends, and they want to be cool. And I'm like, fine, I don't have time for you. I don't have time to be everybody's friend.
Yeah,
And
it's okay.
And I have to be like, okay, I'm gonna stop trying like to spread myself so thin, and to just be like, I can't do that. And like you said, I'm okay with the people that I have in my life that know me. You don't want to give a backstory, because I found like, you have a friend that think that they know you. Well, I was more of a friend to this person than she was being to me, and that was fine because I wasn't expecting that from her. But when I say something, you're telling me the reason why you think that I'm doing something, but you're off because you don't really know me. You don't really know why I'm making a decision or acting the way that I'm acting, because you don't have my backstory. And it's too much work to inform somebody of your backstory, after all of these years. So, I meet nice people, and, I'll invite them in just a little, but I learned to choose me more, and that's with family members, and not feeling bad about it.
Right.
Feeling like, okay, like, I'm not doing that. Or not showing, I'm just not going to show up. I'm going to choose to do what, I want to do, and not be worried about, well, why wasn't she here, or why didn't she show up, or why aren't you visiting? Because I was always the one making sure I go visit all my family members, nieces, whatever. And then I'm sitting back like, they don't come over my house. They don't come over here and show up. Every now and then I actually have to be like, wow, you don't ever come and visit me, but you always expect me to come to your place. Always come to visit you. Always. And I was doing that. I was always gone, because I'm like, oh, I'm over here.
So you just
and Shirley, you know that, because I'm like, oh,
That
over
was
here.
me.
Oh, I'm over here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm over here, because they're like, hey, you come over here, you come over here. I'm not doing that. I'm not running up there anymore. I'm not doing that. If I want to stay at home and do something, and if you call me and I'm over Cheryl's, or I'm at Connie's, or whatever, because my family would get upset. Like, well, you're not coming up here. No, y'all have fun.
Are you coming down here? Because if you step back for a minute, something that I did over the last few years, when I stepped back, I realized, I'm the one who makes the phone calls.
I'm making all of this.
Right.
Making myself
And it's so
available.
funny. Somebody will say, don't nobody call me. So,
Yeah, they kill me with that.
And I'm like,
Yes.
well,
It works both ways.
Yes.
It works both ways.
But it goes back to
why when we have conversations, I'm always the one calling.
Right.
But it goes back to organic relationships too, because the people who are really in your life, Sherry is one, like I said, we have been friends forever, and I have another friend forever, and our relationship has never been dependent upon being on the phone with each other every day, getting together every other day. That's just, we don't need that. Now, we can spend lots of time together, but we don't need that, and neither one of us is saying, oh my God, I can't believe Nikki hasn't called me in 2 weeks.
Right.
I can't believe, and those are the organic relationships where if I am worrying about my relationship, then it's not good for me.
No.
So like you said,
No. mutual being
friendships.
worked on.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is when you stop doing what you're doing
Yes.
on your end, you see, oh, I was always coming to visit and coming to do this, and I realized that you guys don't come and visit me.
Yeah.
You guys don't come and say, hey, let me come over here and cook something for you, or not that I want that, or just, hey, I'm going to come and chill with you.
Yeah, you
I'ma come
realize they
visit
don't
you.
know or
Yeah.
maybe not care what
Yeah.
you're going through.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, because when it's
Exactly.
quiet, it's because I'm not saying it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And I could be going through something, but you normally don't say anything, so you know you're not even checking on me.
Right.
You know, you just
Right.
waiting for me, like, well, I don't know why Connie ain't called me, you know.
To circle
So-
back, that when I talked about my depression I was going through after Dallas left,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I was probably entering, when I look back on it, and when I'm thinking it may have been a combination. Maybe I was getting some beginning stages of menopause as well, because I had a partial hysterectomy, so you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, am I in it? Am I not in it? Because I don't always have hot flashes, but I mean, I've always been hot any doggone way. So,
Whitney
but
Houston.
what I realized that, and when I was sitting there, when I was sitting at home and just sitting in my den, just not just sitting there, because I was depressed. I wasn't talking to nobody. I wasn't calling anybody. Nobody was calling me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
that's
knew
your
what I was
job.
going through.
That's your job.
So that's when I was like, you know,
Nobody was checking
I'm
on you.
choosing. I'm gonna choose me, and if I'm not showing up, I'm not showing up,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna feel bad or obligated to
Yeah.
do it. So that's one of my.
Well,
biggest
here's a
things.
question for everybody. What are you more confident in now that you weren't as confident as a younger person, as your younger self? Like for me, I used to be, I mean, even though I was sing, I was so timid and didn't want, you know, because I was told for so long that I couldn't sing. And you sound like a wounded cat. What you down there? For so long. I mean, really, I was told I couldn't sing. So
Wow.
there was no confidence there. So it always made me feel good when I did sing, and the reaction that I got from people after I sang, it was like, oh wow. So now, the older I've gotten, give me the damn mic. I'm ready to sing. I might not be out there talking to you like Candy be doing and trying to, but I'm not afraid to let you hear my gift. I'm more confident in my gift than I was when I was younger. So what's something that you were more confident in as an adult than you were when you were younger?
I think I was the type of person that was in the background instead of
Being in the
front.
forefront.
Yeah, I think I was in the background. Like my friends were, they talked more. You know, they were more. They might have even dressed different or whatever. You know, if I wasn't in the background, I felt I was. You know, so now I just feel equal. I feel, and sometimes above. You know,
Oh, that's
not stuck up or anything like that. But I feel worthy. That's the word I'm looking for. I feel worthy. You know, and I think I was in the background, little kind of shy girl, you know, like I said, I was almost a recluse. I played inside. Either inside a gate, inside a room, but I was inside as a kid. So I think my forwardness is stronger than it was when I was younger. I'm worthy.
And what you have more confidence in?
More confidence, I would say, in myself, and not my words, but just who I am. So, like, for example, when I was younger, I wasn't as confident because I was always small when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I became an adult and I had children, I got bigger. So I was a little not confident because of my size. I gotten bigger, then I lose weight, then I get bigger, then I lose weight again, then I go up, then I go down.
Yeah.
So I wasn't confident. Now I'm at a place in my life, don't get me wrong, I can always lose a few pounds. But I'm confident in who I am,
Right.
the size that I am, you know. Because I've always, to me, I've always been bigger than everybody, meaning I've always been taller, and then I've always had big feet. I always wore a size 10, whereas my relatives or my kids, everybody wears 7s and 8s, but as long as I can remember, I've worn a size 10. As in my adult life, when I started buying shoes, even when I was younger, it seemed like I always wore a 10. Yeah. So I always had big feet. I was always taller than everybody. And Lord knows, I've always been clumsy. Okay?
We gonna say amen.
Listen,
we gonna say amen.
My family is clumsy. My family used to tease me so bad. My Uncle Fred used to say, God rest his soul, he said, here comes Cheryl. I come to the door. Hi, Uncle Fred. Boom! On the floor. Fell inside the door. And they be cracking up. I was coming in the house speaking. Hi, Uncle. Boom! Tripped over you know how they have a little step. You step up or whatever. But, yeah, but I'm more confident.
And did you prepare yourself before you went in the door? You're not going to trip over it. I used to prepare myself.
I did, and still trip. They laugh to this day about that. His kids.
That might be a little bound.
It might be very
How is balance? How is balance?
I'm clumsy.
Very clumsy.
I'm clumsy.
But I'm more confident in my size. I don't feel bad about. That's just how I was made, and I can't change that. That I'm bigger than everybody. I've always been tall. Seemed like I was always taller than everybody. So I'm more confident in it. There's one time back in the day I was dating this dude, and I was kind of like, hiding a little bit. And he said, baby, let me tell you something. What you hiding for? I said, well, I need to lose a few pounds, blah, blah, blah. He said, let me tell you something. You look good. And you better know you look good, whether I tell you or nobody tell you. You stand up straight. He gave me a whole.
Did that kick it off for you?
It did. That kicked it off for me. And I probably was in my 30s then. It kicked it off for me. I was like, yeah, you're right. And so now I walk around here with my ass out.
You sure do.
And whatever it is, because don't get me wrong now, like I said, I could always lose a few pounds, but until that time comes, I'm not going to walk around with my head down or feeling bad because I'm not a certain way. Indeed. So,
you are accepted.
I'm accepted, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, she's very comfortable. We want you to know she's very comfortable.
Yeah.
So, Mickey, what about you?
I would say I'm more confident in my beauty, and that growing up, I had several cousins that I looked up to, and I loved them. I looked up to, and I thought, and I thought they were, and I still do. I thought they were so beautiful, and I thought they were so beautiful that they were more beautiful than me. As a kid, I was that little girl. I've been wearing glasses since I was 5. I'm in contact lenses, guys. I've worn contacts since I was 15. So I had glasses. I had big lips. When I look back now, I wasn't very overweight, as a little girl. But compared to the other kids, I was. So I wasn't confident in, my size. I wasn't confident in my features. And, at 57, and I don't know where that came from because my mother, I had a mom who spoke beauty and love over me constantly. But I admired, I just remember, there were certain, relatives that I looked up to so much, and I wanted to look like them, and I did, I wanted their hair, I wanted and I couldn't see what I already had. There's that saying, that people always want what they don't have. At 57, I am appreciative, and I love what I was given. I love my beauty. I love my body, the skin that I am in right now. Always, I think you're always trying to improve yourself, but like Candy said, our worth is never tied to our physical self. It's tied to the type of people we are, and how we treat people and how we treat ourselves. But I would say, at 50, and one of the, I'm like a one woman, show out there. My beauty is not something that you see in commercials when they talk about beautiful women. So I take lots of pictures of myself. I post lots of pictures because you know what? If nobody else sees my beauty, I do. And if there's and if there are women out there who are natural and gray haired and whatever,
Embrace it.
embrace it. If that's what you, because if you don't like it, then you need to change it. But I have chosen and I love who I am. When I think I shared in real quick, we did an episode a couple of years ago where when I became a single woman again, I looked around and saw the women that men were dating, and they didn't really look like me. And I said, okay, so what are you going to do? Is it your plan to, change the way you look? And I took a deep dive at myself, all of, 5 minutes, and I was like, I love me the way that I am. Mm-hmm. And so the right person will love me the way that I am, too, because I'm not willing to try and look like something else. So I would say, at this age, I adore myself. I love exactly who I am.
You go, girl.
Me?
Actually, I guess it would be the same thing. Growing up, I was definitely awkward. Wore a size 9 and 9. I don't necessarily think I was super tall, but I was always on the stronger side, like the stockier side of it. Wore glasses. Didn't have, believe it or not, didn't have no.
Wow, you made up for that.
no boobs, no booty, no nothing. Just pretty much legs and feet and head with thick hair and glasses. And my mama got the free glasses, so the glasses, but they wasn't cute. They wasn't cute. So smart and things like that. So after you got older and stuff, I still actually went through it. I was always I wouldn't necessarily say I was in the colorism type of situation, but it was who people looked at differently than. Mm-hmm. But I noticed when I looked at videos and when I picked in the magazines and things like that, the people that I looked at didn't look like those people either. The people that I looked at, they had natural beauties and things like that. What I think is beauty. So as I got older, I figured out I like the natural beauties. I don't like all the makeups and things like that. I like it on other people, but not necessarily on me. So you don't have to be that type of way. You can be a bohemian type of girl. You can be a glamour type of girl. So it's okay to be diverse. That's why I thought America was supposed to be like this.
Equity
and DEI, but it's actually DEIA. Y'all just be dropping off the accessibilities.
Yes.
But DEI was supposed to be diverse. I thought America was supposed to be diverse, and you're supposed to like all different type of people. So I would tell my younger self, it's okay to be different. You don't have to be like the norm. Because if everybody was the norm, we wouldn't have nothing to talk about.
Correct.
Right. Dee, what is your confidence thing that you do that you have now that you didn't have when you were younger?
I think I'm still working on mine.
Oh,
actually, I really do. Just becoming more confident in my worthiness. I think that I'm still coming into that because I've been such a giver that of myself that when somebody is actually giving to me, it's almost uncomfortable.
So you've
even
been validating more
emotionally, it's
people.
almost uncomfortable.
So you're allowing yourself to receive.
Yeah, trying to.
Is that hard for you?
Oh yeah,
Indeed.
yes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
It's very hard.
That's still growth for me.
Yeah.
I love to give, but it's very hard for me to accept.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not really talking about
not just gifts. It's just
Yeah.
even I will give therapy. I will give my time, but I won't let people give me that. So we were talking about that offline. I'm always that person who's perfect. I don't need anything, and because I show that's not true, but that's what I show people, so people don't know that I need them. They don't know I need their attention. They don't know that I sometimes need the pep talk because I don't share that. But I will give that. They come to me because I'm going to give that pep talk. But I won't give them. I won't show my. I won't give that, I want to show that vulnerability to them, to others.
Well, yeah, and I think to some degree I don't do that too. But like, let's just say my niece, like, she'll talk to me and say, you've done this, you said this, you're great. I'm like, she's on the phone praising me, and I'm feeling like, is that really me?
Hard to accept what.
Yes, like I would like to see me how you see me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't. I don't.
All
feel
right.
that.
Well, here's something I have for you all. What's a hard truth that you wish you knew sooner?
A hard truth.
Hard truth that I wish I knew sooner. Gosh.
You have an example,
I
Sharon?
have a hard truth that I wish I knew. I wish I knew that you didn't have to rush to grow up. And that time is precious. And what I mean by that is because so much stuff has changed for me losing my sister. So much stuff. And it's like, when I see y'all, when I see my family, when I see y'all, I want to hold you and hold on to you because time is so precious. I might go to sleep and might not wake up, and you might not even see me tomorrow. You might go to sleep and I might not even see you tomorrow. So it's like the hard truth is time is so precious. Just stop worrying about things. Stop trying to hold on to this. Try to do. Just live. Do what you live life. Live life. And for so long, there's so many things I want to. I like organization. So when things is out of place, it makes me feel like my life is out of place. Like if my house is not clean, I feel like my whole life is out of whack. And I know y'all be thinking it's crazy when I say, oh, the house ain't clean, I need to clean up. Those things need to be clean for me to have
Peace.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
But time is so precious. So that's a hard truth for me. That time, because you think you have time for everything. Like even with, I never thought about losing my grandma. My grandma was like the pillar of us. We always gathered at her house.
Yes.
So losing her was like, dang, she really gone. And I'm still doing that now today with my sister. It's like I still can't. It's unreal. It's just unreal. It's not even. I can't even make myself bring it to be a truth. That's how hard it is. That's how hard it is. Yeah.
I would agree with you on that. Would probably, if I had to pick a hard truth, you do. There are people when you were talking about Tracy. My mother has been gone 12 years, and it's in January, the last month, the 28th, and I thought about it. Was reflecting, and I just, to say 12 years that she's not been here. I'm still struggling that she ever left. That she ever left. So, and then piggybacking on what you said about, it is a reminder. I constantly, when I get caught up, we were talking offline about the things that we worry about. When I find myself going down that rabbit hole of worrying about this or worrying about that, one of the things I tell myself is, but you're still here. Millions didn't make it. People didn't even make it to your age. We all have friends and family that didn't make it to 20. So I always err to, when I start down that thought process, I reel myself back in with, you're still here. And as long as I'm still here, I have, whatever is, upside down, as long as I'm still here, I have time to see it turn right side up. So just keep, and not just keep living your best life, because I just find, I'll just share with you guys, vulnerable wise, 2025, I said this to my therapist, I do not want 2026 to be 2025, because I don't know where 2025 went, 2025, and the
Well,
whole
you have a
year's
big
gone.
change.
No, but the whole year's gone, and I can't reflect on it. I mean, not to say, it's like it was a snap. I don't want another year to pass where I can't. When we're sitting in 2027 doing our podcast, where I'm not, you're like, Mickey, please, you cannot do the whole podcast about your 2026.
I think a hard truth for me. You said hard truth, right?
Mhm.
I think a hard truth. You all probably know I am a self-proclaimed very nurturing person, and the hard truth is everybody don't need your help. Everybody don't need your help, and it's simple things. I can give you a simple example. I had her like, Candy gonna cook for me today, right? I had to almost tie my hands to the chair.
To keep
Cause
going.
I want to get you that skillet. I want to get you that pot. And she over there saying, I know where the pot at.
And I said the same thing when we are.
I know, but that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
In every part of your life.
I think that's something people want you to. It sounds like a wonderful thing to nurture you and make sure you're okay. And but everybody don't need your help. Just calm down, because
Yes.
I think what it does is it stops you from receiving.
Mm-hmm.
True. And also, to add to that, you don't have to fix everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just talking to you, just letting you know what's going on.
Correct.
And talking it out themselves.
Correct.
But we, as nurturers, we tend to try to find a
Fix
solution
it. Try to fix
right quick, fast.
Yes.
But not all the time are they looking for a solution.
it.
They might just be, and I'm referring to sometimes our kids, they might
Oh
say,
yeah, I get that.
oh,
from
mom,
you.
I did blah, blah, and then we're trying to think of how
Right,
to
think of a way to
fix
fix
it.
Before they
And they're like,
Yeah.
I don't need you to fix it. I'm just talking, telling
Yes.
you what's going
Like,
on.
Taryn is definitely a workshop. My daughter's name is Taryn. She's definitely a workshop in this area, because we could be talking and she's like, the baby did this or I did that, and I'm quick to say, well, what you should do is.
Right.
And she'll say, Mom, I really didn't need a fix here.
Oh,
And
yes.
so I have to pack it in. Don't get your feelings hurt, because you think you're doing a loving thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
everybody don't need your help.
That's a good
hard,
example.
That's a
That's
hard
it.